Almost like in some of my favourite games, we start today's video in a random field in the middle of nowhere. This is actually the Lake District and our destination is up that hill. For you experts, you might know this as Red Pike, but this is actually a hill between Crummock Water and Buttermere in the Lake District. And whilst we only went up for the views, what we actually found at the top of the mountain was even better. We found this hidden oasis. This is a tarn and it's actually a remnant from the Ice Age. These mountains are formed by glaciers that have melted and little divots have been left behind where meltwater has actually accumulated and it's actually made these big pond sort of structures. This little tarn oasis was even more special because it hadn't even been given a name yet. And let me tell you something, these are absolutely freezing, but they're crystal clear. I could not help myself from putting that GoPro in the water, and I'm glad I did. Despite tarns being relatively rare, they're only in certain places in the UK like the Highlands in Scotland, the Lake District and near Snowdonia in Wales. Basically anywhere that's got some really tall peaks to it. There's actually a specific fish you can find in these tarns. This is actually called a shelly. Whilst it has loads of different names like the redfish as well, it's a type of freshwater whitefish which is related to the herring. And you know what guys, this being the rarest fish in the UK, I think we might have actually found it in one of these videos. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's super excited to have actually seen this when I was editing the video. I love brown trout, don't get me wrong, but this is so cool. The fish that you actually see is the brown trout and it's a specialist in cold water. The best thing about them is they're not even brown. They're yellow and have leopard spots and little orange spots that are even smaller, and they sprint after their prey. They're a proper voracious predator, a bit like a leopard. These guys are my favourite fish, and if not, definitely up there in the top 3, because I love them so much and we can find them here in the UK. These guys are only small here, and when they're adults they might even go to sea and become sea trout. Whilst these guys are really good swimmers and can actually jump really far, these guys are most likely going to spend their life in this tarn. There is a waterfall that connects this tarn to the lakes at the bottom, but they're more than likely not going to be able to get down there. And whilst this may be a problem for other species that have a saltwater section of their life, brown trout can actually function perfectly fine in fresh water. The real question is, how did they get there? I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's probably from a bird dropping either small fish in there or dropping some vegetation that's got some eggs on there. But this is a bit of a conundrum. Well, thanks for watching. Leave me a comment and tell me how I did, and I'll see you in the next one.